satu, kita warga UITM, kita bangsa perkasa, taat dan setia untuk negara, penuh semangat wajar. Kita jangan mudah terlupa pengorbanan perjuangan anak bangsa. Kita jangan mudah terleka kemajuan keamanan yang ada. Kita berterima kasih pada pemimpin-pemimpin negara. Kita rasa penuh bersyukur kerahmatan kemuliaan darinya. Kamilah pendukung pewaris bangsa, kamilah pejabat bangsa Malaysia, kamilah warga berwawasan untuk negaraku.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, kami memanjatkan kesyukuran kepadamu kerana mengizinkan kami untuk berkumpul sempena International Virtual Educational Design, Invention and Innovation tahun 2022. Pada hari yang penuh keberkatan ini, kami memohon kepadamu agar engkau berkatilah program ini dengan limpahan rahman dan rahimu. Semoga segala usaha kami dalam menjayakannya mendapat keredaan dan hidayahmu. Di saat ini juga kami rafakkan tangan kehambaan, mengharapkan ihsanmu agar engkau satukanlah hati-hati kami, berikan dan lanjutkan kecemerlangan kepada kami, termasuk dalam aspek pembinaan sahsiah insan, dan seterusnya menganugerahkan kepada kami kecemerlangan demi kecemerlangan yang lebih bermakna dalam pelbagai bidang pada masa-masa yang akan datang. Ya Allah, hanya kepadamu sahaja kami panjangkan kesyukuran atas segala rahmat dan berkat-Mu. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzaban nar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Amin, amin ya rabbal alamin. Thank you, terima kasih. Thank you again to our student Muhammad Khairul Faizal bin Muhammad Rafi, students from a program Bachelor Education Science and Biology, and he is also the icon of Mu'adib that was held from the Faculty of Education last year and this year. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the webinar Series 1 on the innovations in teaching. Today, 20th September 2022, we have our speaker, special speaker for today. But before that, let me introduce myself. My name is Khadijah binti Said Hashim. On behalf of the Faculty of Education UITM, I would like to welcome all YouTube participants, teacher educators, lecturers, students, and of course our strategic partners and collaborators from Philippines, from Brunei, from Indonesia, to our iVEDIIC International Virtual Design, Innovation, Invention Competition 2022. Okay. And this year's theme is on humanizing innovation for creative society through collaborations. So very important message to everyone. You still have time to participate, to join our iVEDIIC 2022. Go to our websites, and the submission date extended until 21st October 2022, which is basically we have a month. So on behalf of the faculty, we are not actually inviting not solely inviting the participants, but more importantly, we are actually guiding. So one of the programs in order to guide the participant is actually by having this webinar series. We have webinar series 1, 2, and 3. Let us start by having our webinar series 1. Before we proceed, I would like to also welcome and say thank you very much for the support and engagement from our collaborative partners, strategic partners, Ministry of Education, Jabatan Pendidikan Negeri Selangor, JPNS. We have also Universiti Immaculate Conception Philippines, Lourdes College Philippines, Pusat Kreatif Kanak-Kanak Tuanku Bainun, and also Pocket Production. Ladies and gentlemen, teachers, educators, and students, let me introduce our speaker for today. Right? The speaker who is going to talk about innovation in teaching is Dr. Shah. The full name is Dr. Shahreza Muhammad Sharif, is a lecturer in the field of fish genetics at the Faculty of Fisheries and Food Sciences, Universiti, Malaysia, Terengganu, UMT. Dr. Shah is currently the Director for Center for Development, Talent Development and Innovation, UMT. His research interest is on genetic improvement of agriculture species through breeding and molecular approaches. What is more interesting when it comes to teaching and learning, his interest or focus is on the application of simulation-based learning and alternative assessment. I would like to highlight this is a very significant event that Dr. Shah has won first place in the Anugerah Pemikiran dan Reka Bentuk Semula Pendidikan Tinggi Malaysia circa 2017, APRS, and Dr. Shah has been invited as a selection panel and jury for Anugerah Khas Menteri Pendidikan Malaysia AKRI, as well as UMT Teaching Innovation Competition and UMT Teaching Excellence Award. Please welcome Dr. Shah to deliver his talk, insight, and sharing on innovations in teaching.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Khadijah, for the warm introduction. Well, Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon to all the educators out there, local and abroad, who is watching this program today. So I was invited by UITM to share a bit about innovation in teaching and learning. So thank you very much, UITM, especially the Faculty of Education, for the invitation. And I hope that this sharing can bring benefit to all of you in order to prepare for your content to be submitted, and also for your future activities that you are going to do in teaching and learning. So as mentioned just now by Dr. Khadijah, I'm a lecturer in fish genetics, and please, I welcome everyone who wish to contact me for further inquiries at my handphone and also my email. You can email or can just WhatsApp me or Telegram me. And there'll be three things that I will cover in my talk today. And number one is I will be sharing one major innovation that I produce in teaching and learning, in the hope that you can see the relevance of being innovative in teaching and learning. And I will also highlight another one during the second part. That is what I'm trying to do is to highlight some key points regarding innovation, and finally I will sum up into the third part, that is a summary. Ladies and gentlemen, all educators out there, a bit about UMT. In my faculty, we have a fisheries and also aquaculture academic program. So in this degree, we have two major degrees, one in fisheries and one in aquaculture. The student will be exposed to various aspects of fisheries and aquaculture scope. So they learn about how to culture fish, they learn about how to develop fish feed. Apart from culturing the fish for our consumption, but they're also developing feed for the fish. They learn how to culture the fish and how to breed, as well as becoming kindergarten teachers in the aspects of nursing the babies. Okay? On top of that, in the fisheries part, they also learn about the biological aspects of the fish. Just like students who are taking medical, they learn about the anatomy of human. So in order for you to manage the fish, you also need to learn about the biological aspect. They also learn about how to exploit the fish so that they are able to understand and manage the fisheries resources. And if you can see, there are a lot of practical outdoor activities that are being done. Okay? They also learn about fisheries management and also conservation. And at least they also learn on how to do downstream product. Apart from here, you can see in the slide there, they learn how to produce fish, the food out from the fish. And in this subject also, they learn how to be entrepreneurs. What they prepared, they will sell them to the university students as well as lecturers. So you can see that various aspects of fisheries and aquaculture, from upstream right down to downstream. And currently, as we are having or going through the endemic, food security is also one of the important aspects that we need to cater. Another one that they also learn is about the culture of ornamental fish, where they learn how to breed all these colorful fishes, right, in one subject called ornamental fish culture. Out of this ornamental fish, one aspect that is also important is on how to produce various coloration and patterns. Okay, as you know, ornamental fish has various colors, and it doesn't stop there. You can also mix and match the parents you breed in order to produce new varieties or new coloration. Not only that, we can also improve the quality of the fish, making the fish to have a faster growth rate and also have a much beautiful appearance for the consumer to purchase. So this is where I come in. When they learn about ornamental fish culture and they want to improve the quality of the fish, my role, I considered myself as the fish wedding planner and matchmaker. So in order for you to choose which male and which female to breed and how do you matchmake them, there is a subject that they will learn and they will go through my subject. And my subject is an elective subject. So as you can see, when I introduce to you Fisheries and Aquaculture program, these are what we call as applied science. And in applied science, if you were to train them, there are a lot of issues that you need to consider. The first thing is about the facilities. You need many and various types of facilities. The second one is time consuming. If they want to learn about how to culture a fish, how to breed a fish, it takes time and it takes cost because you need to purchase all these fishes. And there is also a risk where when you do this, occurrence of disease and death among the fishes. And apart from that, the challenge is in developing content for the student to learn. Yet we all know that a lot of things are being done through practical session. And this is what I would like to share, the implementation of innovation in one of the course in fisheries, and which is my course, that is the AQU 4601 Genetic and Stock Manipulation. Now, my course aims to provide knowledge for students to learn about the principles of genetics and how it can be used to produce good quality fish and various types of fish. And the one thing that I would like to share my innovation in order to assist all of you to get a better understanding about innovation in teaching and learning is the focus of one learning outcome. In my course, one of them is the student should be able to display the ability to conduct a breeding program. Well, breeding program involves mix and match. It's not about learning how to breed, because there is another course where they learn how to breed a pair of fish. But this one is about matchmaking. And it is conducted in 4 lab sessions. So this is the steps which they learn in one of the topics. And the crucial elements that they will need to grasp is these 2 steps. There is the design system for genetic evaluation and the matchmaking part. So previously, in my teaching, we just conduct the normal way of teaching. That is, there will be labs, there will be lectures, there will be discussion, and there will be assignment. But through the years of my teaching, we receive feedback from students. For those of you who are foreigners, I just want to, the feedback is in Bahasa, but just tell you, they want more lab sessions, they want more hands-on activities, okay? Because they feel that by having a lot of hands-on activities, they can get a better understanding and becoming more skillful. Even in this part, one student suggests that I should develop a teaching kit in order to teach them regarding this matchmaking thing. So, if I were to accept all their requests and do them according to the normal process, there are facilities that I need. You can see here, in order to matchmake them, I need a breeding pond. If you can see, look into here, these are what I call as hotel room. So we need to provide hotels for the this parent, okay, for them to breed. The only thing is they don't bring their luggage, okay, we just put them in one pair. Apart from that, if they were able to breed, they will have babies, and you need to nurse the babies. You cannot mix these babies. Once they have achieved a certain stage, you need to test them, and the one that has a good improvement will be selected as parent. So you will use them to breed them for future generation. So you need this. And apart from that, you also need teaching materials. You need the fish. You don't buy one pair. In order to matchmake, you need to have at least 50 pairs of fish. And in my case, you have about 5 to 8 groups in my class. So you need to buy at least 50 pairs for each group. And there is a risk where if disease comes, the fish will die, and they wouldn't have the chance to see the whole process. And in this case also, in my teaching, the actual breeding cycle will take about 6 to 8 months. That is beyond the semester. And also, it will take about 8 to 10 years to complete the whole breeding cycle. So, in order to create a new learning activities, so there are challenges that we need to consider. So, in any innovation that we do, it started off with getting feedbacks and having the ideas to develop new learning activities. So there are 4 major challenges that I face. Number 1 is creating learning activities that can meet the intended learning outcome, whether it is done through face-to-face or online. The second is how will these new learning activities increase student engagement throughout the learning process? The third one is the ability for them to learn through various types of learning, such as collaboration. Okay, so whether you conduct it through face-to-face or online, so how do you increase collaborative work? And the last part is about the ownership of the learning. We want them to be independent and they are able to learn at any time, anywhere, or any gadget. So in order to develop this, the development of the kit takes a few steps. And this is the kit that I have developed, which I call it as Fish Breed Pro. So the kit was designed, started in 2013, after I've got the feedback from students way back the previous semesters in 2012. So going to the drawing board, getting the ideas, so we started to develop the kit, and we did the trial on the next semester. After getting feedbacks, we refined and developed the learning instruction, and we started to implement them in lab practical classes. And after that, we also developed an alternative assessment, okay, to assess students to see their ability to display the breeding program for fish improvement. So this is the kit that I have developed. Okay, it contains all these components, the parents, okay, the hotels, the ponds, all the facilities, and these are developed based on simulation-based learning. Okay, so while trying to develop kits, there should be an underlying of a learning theories or learning approach, which will be used as a basis in this development. In my case, the basis of my kit is simulation-based learning. So this is the first attempt that I did. It's just a trial. It's conducted inside the class. Then we got the feedback from the student. Based on this feedback, we do the improvement, and then we develop the lab modules. Okay, so you can see, apart from developing the kit, it has also affected the outcome of the classroom management. Previously, we are unable to do the full process of the steps, and by having this kit, we are able to introduce 4 new lab activities based on simulation-based learning, where they learn the complete process of the breeding program. So this is the lab session that they do using the kit, right? It started off way back in 2014. So what do they actually do? There are 4 major steps that they need to go through. The first one is obtaining the broodstocks, because when you want to matchmake, you're not going to take one pair. You're going to take a lot of pairs and from different places. After getting this, then you will start to matchmake. Okay, there is a technique on how to matchmake, and this is where they learn using the kit. After that, they will do testing, still based on simulation, and the last step is the selection of the future parent. So the kit allows them to learn by doing. They cooperate between each other. The one that knows more will teach the one that didn't understand. And you can see that peer learning happens, and through the instructional design, we incorporate activities that allows them to be critical and also try to solve the problems that arise. So how was this kit conducted in teaching and learning? So the beginning part is we conducted a flipped classroom in which there is a technical report that they need to discuss and they need to present. And this technical report informs about the steps that has been done on the breeding program based on the actual thing that is happening at different organizations. So from here, they will understand and map the steps based on the report. So after that, they will continue with lab number 1, in which they learn about how to manage these broodstocks. There are steps that they need to do. So there also involves the use of the kits and also the lab practical session. The second step is they will repeat lab number 1 and continue with lab number 2, where they try to mix and match the fish. I won't be telling you in detail because it looks simple, but there are further steps that needs to be done inside here. So by having this kit, it allows them to understand the whole complete process. Now, after that, the third step is where they will be given a data of the growth performance of the fish, and they will need to analyze. And from here, they will learn about the selection, how to select the appropriate individuals that can be used to produce future generation. So the whole process takes about 6 weeks, compared to if they were to do it the proper way, it would take about 6 months. So this kit allows them to learn the whole process within a short period of time. So this is some of the lab practical session in which they learn on how to put on the identification chip. This is a special chip in which when you put in, when you scan, you will know, you will get the ID number of the fish. So we can track them. Why we do this in broodstock management? Well, in simple terms, it's easy for us to identify since the fish cannot communicate with us. They cannot talk to us compared to humans. We can just ask, where are you from? But if you ask the fish, they can even tell you where they are coming from. So the only method they can do is to manage them through giving them identity card numbers. Now, you can see that from this kit, the things that the student do really simulates what actually happens in the actual situation. So we designed this according to the activities that have been conducted by agencies, industries, and also other breeders. Now, by having this kit, another question arises, how do you assess their ability to conduct a breeding program? So that's the thing, pops up a question on, okay, we need to do assessment. The current assessment cannot be done, cannot assess them properly. So we were thinking about how if we were to use the kit as an assessment material. But the question arises is, how do you create a question that allows them not just to take out whatever they learn, but they need to be critical, they need to give ideas, and they need to provide solution. So we design the assessment questions that allows them not only just to repeat a repetitive of what they learn in the class, but before they produce and display what you can see in this video that I've showed to you, they need to come up with an idea and they need to solve the problems. Then only they can display how they create the breeding program based on the problem that has been given to them. Now, having this type of assessment allows us to track whether the students are able to do or they are having problems of doing it, and it allows us to track them in real time. So for those who are unable to grasp or did not display a very highly skilled portray of this method, then we will do an intervention program. So here we will discuss with them, ask them which part that they don't understand, and they will repeat some of the activities through the guidance of the lecturers. So the outcome from this, it started off with comments coming from the student, giving ideas that they need some practical session to allow them to understand. So based on that, the idea comes out to develop kits based on simulation-based learning. Out of that, it has allowed us to modify and improve the classroom management, in which we incorporate lab session using the kits, and also allow us to develop an assessment method that can really track the attainment of the learning outcome. So having this kit allow us to improve the student performance, improve teaching and learning based on simulation-based learning. It helps to attain the student learning outcome, okay, produce lab module and also assessment instrument. And the most important thing, it also reduce the cost and also the risk of having conducted the actual one, okay, because there are problems and risk in which they are unable to see the whole process if we were to do in a real situation. And having this kit started off by comments from the student, thinking of how to generate new learning activities. It has also allowed UMT, in my faculty, to conduct knowledge transfer program to farmers. So we do this collaboration with Polytechnic college community in Pahang, Jerantut, to conduct a course on how to produce new varieties of fish. So the picture here you can see is the farmers. So coming from different ages. Okay, this is about 50 plus. Okay, you can see, and there are also young breeders. And having this kit allow us to train them even in the classroom setting. You can see here, does not need to go through the farm to let them understand the process of how to conduct a breeding program for the purpose of improving the quality of the fish. By having this knowledge, they can go back to their farm and try to implement and apply. Okay, so you can see here from classroom, it goes beyond the boundaries of the institution and straight to the community. So having this, it does not stop here. the improvement keeps on progressing. And we all know that there are various online platform that we can use. One of them is the Google Suite, where they have many types of apps you can use for teaching and learning. So the kit doesn't stop just merely for face-to-face. So the challenge now is how to create online learning that allows them to learn anytime, anywhere, anyhow. So based on that, we further improve the kit and produce through Google Slide. For those of you who have experience using Google Slide, you know that Google Slide is a platform just like Microsoft PowerPoint. It's used to make presentation. But if you look into a lot of approaches in YouTube, you know that Google Slide can be also used as an interactive platform for student activity. So having that, we improvise the teaching and learning and use Google Slide as a platform for online learning to conduct this breeding program. So they continue following the 4 steps that they need to learn, but now instead of having to conduct through face-to-face, they are able now to conduct through online. And this allows them to learn anytime, anywhere, and reduce the dependency on must have the kid to learn. Okay, and they can track, they can repeat the process, and they can monitor their progress. So the outcome is, by having this, it allows them to be more creative. If you notice in the previous one, the kit has already been prepared for them. But here, it goes further, in which they need to think on how to design their own ponds. If the time permits, I will show to you the example in my Google platform. So this is one example of the design of the pond in which the student themselves design. So you can see it allows them to be more immersive in their learning. So the initial finding, we can see that it improves the student engagement through collaborative peer learning and learning by doing. It also allows to be flexible in their learning. They can learn through face-to-face as well as online. And by having Google platform, anytime that when they do this, we can always give timely feedback and we can monitor them effectively by looking at what they are doing at their Google slide. So this comes up to my second point of key points regarding innovation. As you all know that the example that I showed to you is part of the innovation process where you try to produce new things or method. And it's about trying to look beyond what we are currently doing in the hope that we can develop novel ideas. Okay? So there are 3 major steps. The first is to have the idea. The second is to implement, in which you design and you apply and you see the outcome and the hope that it can improve the learning quality among students. So I give a summary regarding creativity and innovation based on this framework. So you need to have ideas. The idea can come from various input. Sorry. It can be from the feedback. It can be from your analysis. It can be from your brainstorming. The idea is related to creativity. So once you have the idea, now you need to put your ideas into action. And this is where innovation comes in. The action will allows you to produce a product. Now, when we talk about products, the product does not necessarily mean kids, teaching kids. It can be apps. It can also be teaching methods or teaching techniques. And also, it can also be teaching process. The most important thing related to innovation is it must have added value or impact. Whether it is an increment to the student performance, improvement to the students, to the learning process, or to the classroom management, or impact to the changes in the teaching and learning activities or environment. And the crucial part, you must determine that it is effective. And this is where the research comes in to see whether what you have created, what you have designed, what you have built really has an impact or added value. So again, as I told you, output of educational innovation, it can be improvement of the existing method, a new teaching method, instructional tool, or a new learning process. And the innovation can be incremental. That means you are improving the current states of your method, or it can be a radical innovation, which you produce a totally new things. Okay, the last part that I would like to finish off my talk is related to this. Do you know what is this? This is an ice cream stick. Okay? This is an ice cream stick. What I'm like to share with you related to innovation in teaching and learning, I saw this ice cream stick being sold in the stationery shop. Having to see this gives me an idea. And this has allowed me to develop a new kit called Fish Gene Pro. You can see here the ice cream stick. It resembles the chromosome. So it gives me an idea. This ice cream stick can be used as a chromosome for me to teach students about genes. So having this ice cream stick allows me to create a method. I designed this board where it is a teaching kit for the student to learn about the dominance, the recessive of the genes, and the interaction. So this is just a basic science, okay? Even though it is applied science in fish, but actually gene interaction is a basic science which is part of the field in genetics. So it can also be used as part of a STEM education. So I share to you these two because one is the development that is very specific to my field. The second one is a broader innovation, innovative creation, which can also be used for other subjects. So it incorporates QR codes and also augmented reality for the student to learn. And again, all these are based on simulation-based learning. So from here, they will understand if I were to breed a red-colored fish with a green-colored fish, what will be the outcome of the future progenies? And it doesn't stop there. This kit has also been used to train fish breeders, especially the ornamental fish breeders, on how to understand the genetics of their fish and to let them understand why when they cross a certain colored fish, the outcome is so and so, right? So it has been used in several training activities to the farmers. This is another training venue, which again, I collaborated with College Community Jerantut to assist farmers to understand about genes. By having this understanding, it will give them a more confidence, I can say, to select a proper fish and to understand why the outcome of the fish is like this or like that. So as a summary, I would like to give some points for all educators as a consideration. Based on my sharing and also some aspects regarding innovation, you can see that the aim of innovation is actually to improve the quality in teaching and learning approach for the student learning. And innovation need not always be high-tech. Of course, if you can produce a high-tech, innovative product or teaching materials, that is great. But it started from the beginning. The continuous quality improvement, as I've shown here, it doesn't stop there. It keeps on improving from the board game, goes up to online, and it will goes up somewhere else after this. And in order for you to be innovative, you always need to increase your knowledge and skills in teaching and learning, because any innovation that you do, you must have the basis, okay, either learning theories or learning approach that makes the base of your innovation. And the final thing is, you must ensure what you do, what you innovate, will allow the student to attain the student learning outcome. And always think big. Have a very imaginative ideas, but start small and act now. Okay? And you must consider the importance of making smaller steps in order to achieve a much bigger things in the future. So with this, I would like to thank all of you for your attention, and also again to UITM for inviting me to share some of the things regarding innovation in teaching and learning. I hope that within this 1 hour session, you gain some benefit that allows you to prepare a better presentation for you to submit for this iVED International Virtual Education UITM competition. And I hope you all a very good progress in your in yourself of becoming an innovative educator. So with this, thank you very much, and I hand it over to you, Dr. Khadijah. Assalamualaikum, and again, salam sejahtera.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shah, for the sharing, for the information, for the insights. It's actually opened up. Most of it is actually, most of the YouTube participants, especially international participants, for your information, Dr. Shah, they are actually students from Philippines. I'm very, very interested to actually join your talk because they would love to participate for the upcoming event, iVEDIIC 2022. So as I mentioned earlier, that's the reason why we only, not only we invite the participants, but we guide them. So how we guide them is actually through series of webinar. So today on the 20th of September, we have the first series of a webinar presented and delivered by Dr. Shah. Thank you so much. If I can share the gist, that is, I think, very, very critical and important for all the YouTube participants, for all of us, teacher, educators, and students. Dr. Shah, besides fish innovation and all that, he mentioned about, I think, beside innovation, design, and also invention, what is more important, it's contribution and collaboration. Am I right, Dr. Shah? It's always
Yes.
contribute, yes, when we talk about contribute, it's not only for self-contribution, you contribute to others, it's beyond self. And more importantly, when we talk about these innovation ideas, design ideas, and invention, it's always about collaboration. That is the reasons why it's actually in line with our iVEDIIC 2022 theme. Tema kita pada tahun ini, if I could read once again, humanizing innovation for creative society through collaboration. So the keywords that we human, and then creative society, and more importantly, as I mentioned, is collaboration. Dr. Shah, we have questions. I need to read the question. We still have time. Okay,
Alright.
allow me to read questions. I can see a few questions here. Let me see what we have. This one questions. I think everyone would have to have these kind of questions, and we would like to see, hear your response and sharing. From Amy, Dr. Shah, would you mind sharing what is the X factor of your innovation in your area, in your course, that set it apart from other similar courses? What would be the X factor or critical factor? And also, any parts of your innovation with regards to your course or area, it's fishery and all that, that are transferable to other courses offered by other faculties. Again, we are talking about visibility and collaboration over here. So, Dr. Shah, these two questions we respond first. Can we?
Okay. All right.
To you, Dr.
Now,
Shah.
what I can say, the X factor, is like, for example, in my innovation, is the novelty of the kit, because number one, there is no such a kit being developed to teach aquaculture students. In my field, actually, we are lacking of kits compared to medical students. Okay, in medical they have a lot of teaching kits, but in my field there are not many teaching kits. So what I can say in my approach is the novelty of the design, because it has never been conducted. And secondly is having this, it allows high engagement among students. You can see the kit as just the kit, but the beauty of having this kit is the flexibility and creativity to design your instructional learning for the student. Having that, you can train them on understanding the basic things. You can allow them to train to be critical. You can also adjust to train to become collaborative. Okay, and that is the thing of by having this, and this is what I call the X factor. It doesn't stop until one approach. You can be flexible. Now, when you say transferable, as I mentioned, as I showed to you in my second innovation, even though it looks like it is a kit on teaching about genetics, about how to breed a fish, but that is actually the basic concepts of genetics, which can be applied even up to school children, because the understanding about the genes. Okay, that is one thing. The second, take for example, my first kit, even though it is used for breeding program, but that kit also allows for anyone who wants to learn about pond management, or they want to learn about agriculture, they want to learn about the basic things about aquaculture, they can also do that. Even for in economics, they can learn about how to be an entrepreneur in aquaculture by having that kit. So you can see it can be transferable. The only thing is designing the instructional learning for the student for that particular course. But again, as I told you, in my case, in my kit, it may be limited. For example, it cannot be transferable to all courses or field. But as I showed you one example, any other field in aquaculture can use the kit for their own learning purpose, and also for other fields such as in economics and also in basic science, where they can understand about the basic biology of the fish through doing the practice using the kit. So I hope that my my explanation answered the question.
All right, and it's very clear. But I love when you say this one, Dr. Shah. It doesn't stop by using or applying one single approach. In psychology, we call it combining, or we call it eclectic, which means probably we need to have 2 or 3 approaches. It's trial and
Yes.
error. Experience matters. Can we take another 2 questions, Dr. Shah? It looks
Can.
like we have so many questions, but this question is from Dr. Tuti, and she wrote about this one. Yeah, in teaching and learning, personality matters, equality matters, like role and responsibility and distribution and all that. How can we create a place for all learners in restricted resources, such as crowded places, facilities, teaching materials, and tools? Maknanya, in other words, it's we have actually issues, challenges, and limitation. How we go about doing that from your insight and experiences and reflection, Dr. Shah?
Okay. Thank you very much for the question. I see this in one aspect. The key points in how to prepare all this, okay, with different people from different places, facilities, okay, and tools. The importance of understanding students or learners' diversity. Okay, I would like to share with all of you. In my case, prior to for any class in the early semester, I will always get information regarding the students' learning style as well as their background. Whether during the pandemic last time when we did online, as well as in the face-to-face session. By having this information, then it allows you to map and organize how will your approach be for this coming semester. Okay, so that is why I say, through my experience, as I've shown to you just now, you can see the development progress from having the kit visual one, now improve towards online. So you can see, what I can say is, get the feedback first, understand the student needs. Second, you try to respond to the student needs by developing materials or content that allows them and that caters different types of learners. And again, I would like to remind, it is not like a genie where you can just flip like that, everything can happen. It goes progressively. Okay, so if you do that and you are persistent, I strongly believe, inshallah, after a few years, when it comes back to your class, we will be better prepared because we prepare various types of approach, materials, tools to cater for all the students. That is what I can respond. Thank you. And sorry, and another thing, anything that you do, always get feedback and analyze to see what are the things that can be done to further improve the things that you
Exactly.
have created.
Exactly. I exactly agree with that. How important and critical assessment, because it will provide feedback and also responses from the students. Same goes to innovation and design. Yes,
Correct.
Dr. Shah, we have another one questions. This is the final questions. I have to entertain this question.
All right.
So okay, let me read these questions. There have been studies that higher education graduates are not work ready, right? How can we produce a triple threat graduate who possesses internship, a long-term project, and industrial recognized credentials along with the degree? It's some sort, is like indirect questions. Besides, if I can summarize this, besides we would like to have a product, innovation or design whatsoever related to inventions. We would like to create a holistic individual students. Am I right? That actually
Yes.
having entrepreneurship skills and also some critical skill sets. So what is your response for this question, Dr. Shah, please?
Okay, thank you again for the question. I would like to respond this in two different perspectives. Okay, number one, through the years, through my experience in teaching and also working with other colleagues, I noticed that in some cases, there are still a lot of work needs to be done on the constructive alignment of our approach. You see, there are some cases in which when we want to develop in some of the course learning outcome to focus on leadership or teamwork, don't be surprised when some of the assessment did not really assess the teamwork skill, but the teamwork skill is being assessed through report. So that is why I say, number one is to check back and see, are we doing the right thing? When we were asked to cater for a certain learning outcome, it can be digital numeracy, digital skill, numeracy skills, teamwork, entrepreneurship. Is our delivery allows them to be trained to attain that? That is number one. Second, how do we really track their learning? That means our assessment. Is our assessment really can show that the learning happens and they really gain it? That is the thing. Because up until now, these are the areas that really all educators need to check. Now, the second one, I believe Ministry has taken take notice about this, and that is why we have Excel, experiential learning. We have Poise. So, inshallah, if all of us really put an effort to materialize the one that has been done by KPT, I will be pretty sure that our student graduates will improve. And the third one I may add is we need to be creative in our curriculum. That is why in ACRI also we have one category in curriculum. Teaching and learning now is very flexible. It does not mean that you need to teach separately by subject. Sometimes students in one semester can learn the whole subject that they learn in one semester by just doing project-based learning. One project being conducted at that particular semester, which can allow them to learn 5 subjects that they need to take in one semester. So it depends on how creative in the approach of designing. Now it's not in our subject beyond classroom based on the semester. And the focus is what are the targets that we want to improve in relation to the student. If we are creative enough to design all these things, apart from just developing kits, but focusing on developing proper activities that caters on all these problems related to these graduate quality, I'm pretty sure we will improve the quality of our graduate. That is all I can respond. Thank you.
It looks like we have come to our end of our first webinar CV, Innovations in Teaching. What I can conclude, beside the fish innovation that I can see, besides 2 points that I have already highlighted based on Dr. Shah sharing, which are collaboration, contribution. You were saying, Dr. Shah, just now about dynamic, which means responsive, right? We need,
Yes.
besides we need to collaborate, we need to, upskilling, reskilling. You don't depend solely on one approaches or skills
Correct.
that we have. So I think that's lovely, fantastic. You have your experience, hands-on experience, you have your knowledge, And I hope Malaysian, Brunei, Philippines, in Indonesia as well, teacher educators and the students, you will have the benefit, the knowledge that shared and delivered by our speaker today, Dr. Shah. Okay, Dr. Shah, on behalf of the Faculty of Education, our Dean, Dr. Sharifah Ruzaina, and the whole community of learners, I think we thank you so much for your insight today. May Allah reward you abundantly, Dr. Shah, with your knowledge, inshallah. And for the YouTube participants, for teacher educators, don't forget our lunch dates. We still have 2 series. We had our first series today, so we have the second one and the third one. The second series will be this Friday 23rd, and the next or the final series will be on the October 6th. Thank you, Dr. Shah. All right, and with
Welcome.
that,
Thank you very much, Dr. Khadijah, and also
yes,
UITM.
exactly. You can see the comment. We have international participant commented. They say thank you to you. Thank you to you. Thank you for your sharing. And don't forget to like and share and subscribe our faculty YouTube. And the most important part, please give your response. Please also to what you call that, sign in. We have attendant links and for e-certs. With that, I thank everyone. Maraming salamat. Thank you, terima kasih. Take care and bye.
Uitm